Hello and welcome to mission 2 of GMT Skies Above the Reich. We have failed abysmally on the first mission, so now we're going to try and see how the second mission is going to pan out. So let's start our mission setup. Our 3 dice as before. So as you can see from the dice here is 6, we have map 1, we are inbound and we have 6 points. So any real change there is inbound for outbound from last time. We're not rolling for the escort as said until we actually get to the play. So let's get all that set up on our chart. So with the 6 points, we're going to use our 6 expert and pilots again. Hopefully they'll do a bit better than last time. Now we need to look at the situation manual to see the finer points of the mission. And before we do that, we need to find out which formation we are facing, A or B on the map. We have a 7, which is odd. We're on formation B again. So very close to what we had before. Right, our inbound situation rolls to do here. So like before, we have the damage, they have the sun, tactical points and flight limits. So that's 4 dice to roll. Okay, so these are the rolls here. Just see if you can see the whole thing here. Right. So on 8 we have again a damage on the middle plane. We have the sun, no sun at all. Shift this up so you can see easier. No sun at all. 1 tactical point. That's not great. And for turns we have 8. So our tactical points are 1. Our flight limit is 8. So let's go and pull the damage on the middle bomber on the formation. These are stack of chits here, and we have a 3 on a wing, which that'll be quite good. Certainly looks like a target there. Okay, so let's finally, I think, switch to the gameplay. So to start off with, we're going to do our same trick again, I think. I'll have 2 in an oblique. We'll come in from this direction, low, and we'll have our 4 low nose. Okay, so our first turn, we do our move. So we are both going to be moving to level. No return. Now we get to the escort phase. So the escort phase, we're going to roll on the escort chart to see what we get. So that would be a 9. And 9, if we look at the chart here, is right up here because we are inbound. L3P. Okay, so it's 3 light, from turn 3, light, and they are P47s. Okay, so these are the 47s picked randomly, and where are they going? So let's roll on that escort display here. And on the 4, we have 3 forward and 2 below trailing. That's much better than the above trailing we had last time with the Spitfires. So our escorts are there. So the escorts are, because they're inbound, so they are here at the moment. However, they will be leaving on turn 3. So put the escort exits marker on turn 3 there, and so we might have to wait around a little while, shall we say, to make sure they disappear. Now we roll to see what happens to the escorts in those boxes. So the forward table we roll is an 8, and one of those goes to below trailing, and from below trailing we roll for that station, and a 6 flank level 8 to 10 o'clock. And would you believe it, slap bang right on these 2 fighters here. Yeah, so flank level 8 to 10 o'clock. Great, there you go. So we get into some escort fights almost immediately. What was the chances of that, eh? Okay, so we have to have a look and see what we've got. We have 2 Thunderbolts here, and we have 2 fighters. So in our aerial combat table, we're seeing a hell of a lot of this table here. So we're looking at BF 109s versus the P47s, which are the same as Spitfires. So we're on that, still out on that same table. Fighters higher than escort, so they came from below trailing and we were level. So yes, the fighters were higher than the escort, and there aren't more fighters. We are the same amount. So therefore we are yes and no. So we're on this table here, and let's roll to see what happens. A 9. So a 9 is a BE. So B is break off. The fighters and 1 escort marker exit, but we have an E, and an E, 1 fighter earns a kill. So we did actually, sorry, there it is. Break off is there, and E is there. So 1 fighter out of the 2 earned a kill, but everybody exits. So we lose those 2 fighters. So these guys are out, and I think Grim is getting quite experienced on this. So we'll mark an EP. Yeah, let's give it a Grim again. Why not? And that's an EP again for Grim. Right, okay, so that's the escort phase of turn 1. Good, but not brilliant. Okay, so there's nothing else to roll for the entire turn, so we then go to turn 2. So in turn 2, we have our 4 here. Now I think what we'll do is we'll try and split these up in our move. So we can go to flank any for 0 TP from nose level. So we're going to go high here, I think. And we might have these guys. Well, we have I think maybe go to level, I think, and these guys to high. So that will be our move for turn 2, and then we're on to the escort phase again. So swing this around a little bit here. Apologies about the sun coming through. So I'll roll for the forward station. It's a 9. They go below trailing again, and the below trailing a 3, and a 3 is tail low. So one of these goes to the tail low over there, where we're nowhere near that, so that's fine. Okay, so that's escorts done. and there's nothing else to really do for the turn. So we'll then go on to turn 3. And on turn 3, in the escort phase, the escort will actually exit. So that's great. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do a low oblique attack and a high nose attack. So we place that for the move. We then go to the escort section, and the escorts are all removed for the rest of the mission. Goodbye, thanks very much. And so now we then go on all the way through to the attack phase. So in the attack phase, we have our 4 aircraft coming in, and we have one set low oblique and one set high on the nose. So we it's high actually, so that's 2 markers. So where are we going? Well, this is a weakened bomber here, and it would be really good to get some extra damage on it, because 3 is quite high for a damage counter. However, we'll be coming in on 2s here, so it's not a great place to be. However, we'll either be on a 2. If we went up here, we would have a 2 for the oblique. I mean, what we could do is we could split, and we could take the nose here and the oblique here. We will get the position advantage because it's the whole element that matters, not just an aircraft. So maybe we'll do that. The other thing we will do is we will turn one of these evasive as well. So we won't get any problems, or shouldn't get very much problems with proximity. Okay, so the first thing we do is check proximity after this. So for each of these, we'll start off with the nose attack. We'll pick a proximity marker, and it's a proximity 2. On our chart here, we look at the proximity 2 marker. If evasive mode, treat as no collision. Other than that, we need to roll the die if we were determined, and a collision occurs if we roll less than the number. So this is just avoided, so that doesn't happen. So down here, another proximity counter. That's a no impact, so nothing happening there either. Great, got past that this time. Now we select our manoeuvres. So I think we'll try and we will attempt to kind of, if you like, pass each other. So we will climb and roll this way, and we will dive and roll that way. Okay, those are our manoeuvres, and now we check for any advantage. Okay, so the element is being attacked from more than one altitude and position, so therefore we do get a position marker, which will save us a hit somewhere. Okay, and then we'll go through each of the fighters to do their attacks. Right, so let's start with the nose first, and we'll start with Clara here. So the nose attack, we are currently on 1 lethality, and we are determined. So looking at our card here, we are nose, we are high, we are determined, and a 1. So there is no result for us, but we do move 2 in the direction. So 1, 2, and we end up in another 1 zone. Okay, a little disappointing that. Just want to see if Clara has what his skill is. As a matter of fact, he does have that skill, the timing skill, so he can add a damage once permission. So he'll do that, and we'll pull a damage for that bomber, and it is a fuselage 9, and so if we get 9 or better, then the bomber will fall. Let's roll that. A 0, a 10, so he does. Fine, so that bomber falls. We put a fallen marker in its place, one of these, and that has a formation, an element cohesion value as well. So that was great, and we mark off his skill, damage skill. This does mean, however, that there's nothing for this guy Bauer to actually do, but he still has to do the attack. So we are nose 1, but we're evasive this time. Nose high 1 evasive is a hit, which doesn't matter, and a no ammo with 2 spaces moved. So it's moved there, however, he does now have a no ammo to put on to them. Okay, again, disappointing. No hits for our position to be able to cancel either. Right, down here, we'll do Adamate here. This is a 1 lethality, and he is determined. So we look at the oblique attack, which is over here, and we are looking at 1 low and determined. So low 1 determined is a hit and a no ammo. Lovely, we've got another no ammo. But we do have a hit. His special ability is to break away. So he can actually, rather than going through the 2 spaces, he can break straight to a box, which I think we'll do now, because he's low ammo anyway, so we might as well move him away so there's not any other chance of damage on him. Right, so let's put that away, and I will see what the hit is. And we have an engine 4, so that's a good chance of another fall. Okay, let's roll the dice on that. An 8. Yeah, that should do. And so this bomber falls as well. And again, our second chap is kind of shooting at air. But let's organise that. And we also need to place low ammo on our successful chap. And let's roll for this guy here. So actually I just realised that's actually a 0. So I might have got that wrong up there because the bomber had already fallen. So so this is a 0 low oblique evasive. 0 low oblique evasive. So that's a hit on us and 1 move. So with the 1 move he ends up here. He has a hit, but who is it actually? Dahl. Dahl actually has the aim as well. He won't use it now. We will use the position marker to cancel the hit. Okay, so keep that. Right, now because we have 2 bombers fallen, this becomes part of the advanced game, is that we can get fighters to follow those bombers to make sure that they're destroyed, and we do that after the main mission is over. So looking at it, we have 2 fighters with no ammo and 2 other fighters. So I'm wondering whether we just don't get a fighter each to go follow these 2 bombers and we leave the rest of the formation alone. It'll be odd because this will be turn 3 out of 8, but I kind of think we've done our job here. Yeah, let's do that, and then we can cut across to the pursuit of these 2 bombers. Before we do that, of course, we have the continuing fire, which is due for all 3 of these. Adamate didn't need to use it because he could break away. So with Clara here, we are currently 1, and anything in these 2 zones would be a -1, but this is out here, so it's actually still a 1. So let's look at a 1, and we get nothing. We're climbing, rolling away. We break away to the tail position though because we're slow. So Bauer moves to the tail position. Oh, actually we're diving, so that's fine. We ignore that, and that continuing fire has been done, and he will break down to here, the flank low return box. Oh sorry, that was Clara actually that did that. So Bauer, I think Bauer was actually evasive here. Must have switched it over. So let's look at the continuing fire here, and we're on the 1. Evasive. If dive rolling, skip the fire. So we are dive rolling. So again, that gets removed. Okay, and finally we have our chap here, Dahl, and Dahl. The continuing fire would be, he's on a 1, because it's a 2, -1 because the bomber has fallen next door. So on a 1, and evasive is nothing. However, roll a die for friendly fire. Place a damage marker on the nearest bomber if even. If odd, skip the continuing fire anyway. Okay, so let's hope for an even really. Let's roll that. We've got a 1, which is odd, so we skip the continuing fire anyway. Okay. And he then climbs to the high evasive in... I think we've lost our no ammo marker somewhere. I believe that was on Bauer there. Okay, so that was our attack, and as I say, I think we will be doing some pursuit now. Right, so what will happen is we keep going through the mission turns. However, at any point one of our aircraft can move, it can be sent to the turn track on the turn that it moves, to then try and pursue the bombers. So yeah, as we have, yeah, we're in evasive return boxes, and return boxes are going to take a little time, and it may be that they might lose the bombers. But let's carry on with the next turn now we've done the actual attack. Right, so the next turn we can look to do moves. However, everything is in a return box, so you have to wait for the return phase, and then these return. However, with the no ammo Bauer, we are going to send him home anyway, because he's not going to be able to affect anything. And there are no escorts. We can do a cohesion check on the formation. So if we look over there just briefly, we actually have 3 markers. The fallen markers count as a marker. So let's roll for the cohesion of the formation. And we get a 2, so we do get a formation degrading here. Not sure it's that useful for us anymore. unless we want to go back there. But I think pursuing our 2 bombers is just about the best we can do. But we have a loose formation here anyway. No attacks, so we move on to turn 5. And in turn 5 we have 1 aircraft in a move box, not in the return box, so that guy can pursue. So we take him off, and we will put him on the chart on the turn it is now. And these are the bombers here which have fallen down in turn 3, and it's not automatic that we'll actually find the bombers because of this delay. We, in the return phase, we will move Dahl there, and we have our cohesion check again for the bomber formation. And because we have the element loose there, we actually have 4 counters now. Let's roll to see what happens. It's a 3, which means this increases to kaput. And interesting, it's really quite weak now, but I think we have our targets already set. So no attack, and we move on to the next turn. So the next turn for move, now Dahl is in a move box. We again can take him off, and we can use him to pursue. And as far as the rest of the formation goes, and the main map, that's the end of the mission. So we can swap this out for the pursuit map, and we can see whether we are actually going to pursue the bombers successfully. Right, first we need to check that the interceptors actually intercept these fallen bombers. So what we do is, these are the 2 bombers here. These counters are no longer relevant. So for each bomber we decide if anybody's going to follow them. So I think our guys will split, and we'll split them into these 2 groups. So Dahl following this and Claude following this. So what we're interested in is the number of spaces between the fighters and the bombers, and that's our intercept number. So in this case it's 1, because there's 1 box. Here it's 2. And we need to roll a dice, and we need to roll I think it's greater than or equal to the intercept check. Yes. Equal to or higher than the intercept number. So we should by rights intercept here, but let's have a look. We'll do with Clara first here, so that's just a 1. So anything but a 0 or a 1. A 9. So he did definitely intercept. And here with Dahl, a 0, 1 or a 2 is what's necessary. We can spend this tactical point to help, but I'd rather use it in the pursuit rather than here, to be honest. But anyway, it's so he fails. Okay, so Dahl flies home, and we don't get anything more than just the experience point for a fallen bomber, not for a destroyed one. So that's removed. But we do have 1 bomber being followed by Clara. And now what we have to do is we need to do a pursuit setup, so it's a different board, and I'll just get that all sorted now. Okay, here we are in the pursuit phase. So first we have to set things up. So it's a different set of circumstances than in the main mission. So we do roll for the sun again, and that's these sun markers here. So we need to roll to see if the sun has appeared during the pursuit. And a 0, 10, means that the sun is here. So you can take the sun marker and put it here. Here we go. Now we transfer the markers from the turn track over here. So the first thing you do, of course, is the bomber and its damage marker. So this is the damage marker, and we put it onto the box that corresponds to the damage type. So this is engine. So here we put it onto here. There's a damage marker. It's a 0 here, but that's not so bad actually, because it's done in damage number of markers here to see whether actually the plane just is already destroyed on its own and we don't have to do anything. As you may be able to see in this little table here where the engine is, we have 1 damage marker. This means we gain 2 tactical points, but also we roll for a bailout, and it's a 9 or a 10 means that the crew have bailed out and the bomber is in effect destroyed without us having to do anything. So let's roll that bailout first. 9, there you go. So the crew had already bailed out, so our fighter, even though it followed it down, didn't need to do anything more to the bomber. It was empty by the time he got there. So that actually ends the pursuit completely. So all we have left to do now is to go through the mission tally or debrief. So we had 2 bombers fall, and that was caused, 1 by Adamant and 1 by Dahl. Now, 1 fallen bomber got away. However, the other one was destroyed, but it wasn't destroyed by another fighter. So therefore, there are no EPs, actually experience points earned by any particular pilot. However, what we also have is experience points and victory points for the Starfall itself. So we'll just move to that sheet. And here we go. So this is mission 2, 1942. It was map 1, actually B, again, and it was inbound and with 6 operations points. So for the Starfall itself, they earned victory points on the outcome, the total outcome. So you don't earn EPs or I don't believe you earn EPs or victory points for the fallen bomber in the advanced game, but you do get for the destroyed bomber. So it's two points for experience points, and also 2 VP earned for the Starfall itself. In fact, I have that slightly wrong. So so the experience points are actually earned for both bombers. So one's destroyed and one's just fallen, so that's actually 3 experience points earned, but 2 victory points earned because only 1 was destroyed. I think that should be it. Yeah, so overall that was a lot more successful than the first mission. So we actually had 3 effects. We destroyed a bomber, we made a bomber fall, and also Grim, with his charmed life, actually was able to shoot down an escort as well and got an experience point for that. So as far as pilots killed, nobody again. So yeah, we're on 2 victory points at the moment, and let's see how it goes with mission 3. So as always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.